Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then.
No, I haven't.
We have an approval for the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Agenda approved. Approval for April minutes.
Make one.
Give a second.
Seconded.
All in favor? Motion carried. Approval for a work order in the amount of $1,344.50. Work to Valhalla Circle, and Millings, Timber Court, and putting in culvert. We have an approval.
I make a motion we approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion carried. Old business. Roads. Where's that T road? Roads.
Well,
Same old.
same old, we got the,
You turned
what
lights
on
on,
the
so
calendar we're able to do this year. That's about it.
Right.
Oh,
Full changes, maybe some full.
that's right. I can see your faces now, so
Back to roads.
All right, like I said, we got, Malcolm Clapp is in there this week. Did whatever the calendar can afford this year. And, we're pretty much.
Could he have a microphone?
Here Malcolm Clapp is in here working on the calendar this week. And what's left is whatever comes up through the year as far as millings and stuff like that. It's not all there is to report on that this year.
Dump day. Dump day went pretty good. Seemed like we set it up a little bit different, flowed in and out pretty good. Greg and Ron were here, monitored it and kept track of everybody best they could. Rain, a good bit on.
yeah, it rained for 2 days solid. I mean, we had pretty good participation. I want to thank everybody for their patience. You know, when we were, getting loaded and taking care of the coupons, I think that was pretty successful. So, I think, in general, for exception of the weather, I think things turned out very well. So thank everyone.
really not do it on Mother's Day next year.
Moving right along, new business, horse riding in Glendale year round.
Horse riding.
Horse riding, we had somebody call and want to know if they could bring their horse up for the weekend, and ride it around.
Who's gonna pick up the food?
They have to pick up their own.
Okay.
But it does state you can't have livestock in here. So it's kind of that's why it's tabled. We believe what they want to do is bring the horses up, take them up to the state park, but why, and then they walk them back down, and not necessarily just riding the streets. We're not 100% sure, we're just touching base on it to see everybody's feelings on it.
Well, the open door up, you get more, everything else in there too, that's the other part.
Say that again?
When you open the door up, you get everything else in there too.
That's right, everybody's gonna bring up all their chickens.
I think so.
Also, might want to consider if they're going to be here for a weekend, every weekend, what their steel boots might be doing to the road surface.
Right, I mean, all of it is, we're just kind of hashing it on out. The board wants some more details on it. And then we'll discuss it more in the future. Moving around, common ground purchase C314. Again, we didn't get all details on exactly what the guy wants to purchase, but it's a lot. A piece of dirt down behind his campsite, down by the pond. He would like to extend it out to common ground where he can move the shed and put a garden. But we need more details on that as well before the board can make a decision whether or not to do it. But you'll know about it if it were to happen. Electric bill account transfer. Laura, you want to discuss that with
Well, George is demoing it now. You want to tell them about that?
Yeah, the bottom line is people have bought and sold, kilowatt hours from somebody other than Petalite for years. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. We did it before for the Property Owners Association. We only did it for a year because after a year, the rates were comparable and there was a fee to get out of it. Well, now this program involves Pennsylvania and there is no fee to get out of it. The savings to the Property Owners Association would be 3 cents per kilowatt. Keep in mind that we have 7 meters. We did a test analysis on one of the meter readings here at the pool building, and it was a savings of $350, and that was in 1 month. In addition to that, there's a kickback. Somehow, some way, they take a year's average of what each of the meter readings were, and they give you a percentage in return. So based on that information, it's my recommendation that the board give me the approval to contact the lady, and we do it for a year. After a year's time, we contact them or they contact us. And if you know this lady Bliss, she calls about every other hour to get a hold of me. I'm sure there's an incentive for her to do this program, but she assured me there's no withdrawal fee. So I'm recommending to the board that we do this.
I'll make a motion to proceed.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Proceed. Jim Moore here.
Yes.
Like to discuss what you have planned?
Yeah, George brought it to my attention that they were gonna be doing some paving and stuff in here, so I found out that I have to present it to the board. I'd like to get Pepper Drive done up in my area. Me and my wife are going to pay up to $4,000 for the cost. But I'd like to finish that up, so like what you just did for the slab 3 or 4 years ago, whatever you did. If you're willing to do that, we'll pay the $4,000, and then that slab was put in a couple of years ago, I'll pay to have that resurfaced, because it's actually starting to break down too. But that's what I'm hoping to do. I'd like to get the rest of the garage finished up and to the slab was did and burn my house. And we'll pay up to $4,000 in the cost.
You have a proposal.
Got an estimate from Mop and Plaque for $11,135.
Yep.
You're willing to
I'll pay
pay
$4,000.
$4,000.
I mean, I'd like to get that finished off, because we've been playing with that since I've been up there. We've done it for 28 years now. And, just like, you did a nice job. That slab that Bill put in 3 or 4 years ago, is really nice. And I'd like to do that up to that slab. And like I say, I'll pay to have the, slab that's already in there resealed, because like I say, it's starting to break down and needs resealed. I'll pay to do that.
Well, we discussed this in the pre-meeting, and I believe everybody is on board with doing this, Jim. Unfortunately, we have spent all of our blacktop money already for the year, and Clip and Fop are done.
Will you do it next year?
I believe so.
Sort of like that answer, because we discussed it, let me know. I want to, if you just don't want to do it, then I want to try to maybe make some alternatives. I talked with Dave on this last year, but I know he's not for it anymore. But I said, if you don't do it, maybe I can get somebody in there to do tar and chip. Which I knew tar and chip would be a lot cheaper, and it's something that you have to build up over a couple of years. You can put base on that. Base, that's what short screws out there, tar and chip, and it's all done rolling. But anyway, I'd like to finally get something done. We've been up here a long time, and I'm like, it's gonna enhance my property. I mean, I know that. But we're just trying to keep the dust and the slop.
So to answer that, Jim, if you could get us a little bit sooner as far as into next year, at least a month ahead of time, because we make initial plans and.
No, I understand that. You just did it early this year.
Right.
I'm at the earliest meeting that I was told I have to be here. I was just made aware of this by George, a month ago, George?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only found out because we're doing this about a month ago. And then Bill stopped at my house last week and told me what it would cost. That was last week, right, Bill? Okay, and he said, well, you're gonna have to come to the meeting, because I sort of knew this was gonna happen, because I knew not to clap in here. I'd like to get a commitment next year where maybe I'll give her a couple more dollars, and then the price goes up, but I'll commit 4,000 at this time. I'd like to get that road done, and I probably will end up selling that black top, gets put in a couple of years, because it needs done. I'll do that probably this year. But if you commit to finishing off the road, make it nice for everybody. Neither here nor there what you do, but my road, that whole loop gets probably as much trouble as anything in here. You get the school buses, you got the UPS trucks, FedEx trucks. I mean, and everybody comes by my house, not because of my house, but it's just a nice travel, like going up Kimber, like coming down the road. Because there's no traffic, that's the big thing. It's not like trucks or sprinklers or anything. I get a lot of traffic on that road, my point. So I'd like to make it nice, but I'd like to make it nice for me too. Like I said, again, been up here 28 years, it's longer than anybody here. I'd like to get it done, get you willing to make a commitment, so.
Jim, I'm not a road expert, but there's 3 things that we do for roads. One I like to leave is tar and chipping, because after a few years, heavy traffic, you get alligator cracks, the water seeps into it, it lifts it, and you're patching potholes all the time.
Well, tar and chip has to be done every year, so you build up a way. But, sorry to interrupt you, but if Schwartz Road, I've been here 28 years, I watched how they did that. That wasn't done with asphalt, that was all tar and chip built over years. I watched them build it.
The Cadillac is what you're talking, and that's why it's $11,000 bill.
Oh, I understand, I'm not against the cost.
All right, but there's millings. I don't know if you're familiar with what millings are.
Milling won't work on the tar and chip. I already talked to Kendall. Okay, if you have a basement, the milling works great for what you did on Kibler at the top. That was fantastic. And what you did on that little hump there by Jack's, that little hump, that stuff works fantastic. I talked to Kendall. Milling will not work. You have to have heat to get it to here. We have those. All right.
I don't see.
Jim, and before I move on, how about right after the first of the year next year, I touch base with you, get with them, or you get up with me right after the first year,
Well, I'll be in touch.
and then we'll go from there. Get money from you, get commitment from them, and as soon as the clock come in, hopefully we get you done.
I'd love to, yeah.
Okay, with you right after the first of the year next year, and we'll have a better idea.
That's excellent.
Sooner the better.
If something happens this year, throw them in, because hey, who knows what happens a couple months.
Okay.
Okay, man. Can I get a side note, please? Do people know where Pebble Road is? Okay, if anybody wants any free firewood, there's right out by Pebble Road, a whole pile of firewood, there's a pile of brush. Don't touch the brush when you get built, take out it. If there's firewood there, if anybody wants it's already cut, like, going, just let it shoot what you want. Okay, have a good day.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
I just have a question. Is there any millings left, or did we use all those as well?
We're chipping away at it.
Okay, is there any way, coming on to Melody, there is a huge hole. I mean, it throws you, it's a huge dip. Can that be patched at the station? Onto Melody.
Where's that?
On Melody, it's a huge dip when you come in, you can bottom out in it. It's, yeah.
It's off of what, right?
It's off of Harmony. Off it up there, Melody, there's a huge in the right lane. Okay.
I know it's on our list to go to do potholes on the dirt roads.
Okay,
We did
that's,
some on Blacktop the other day. And you know, we've got a bunch still on the dirt roads, and we're gonna get out and get them pretty soon. And make sure and get
okay.
Melody taken care of as well.
Oh, thank you.
Moving right along, bylaws.
All right, I'll talk a little bit about that. We have a meeting scheduled next Tuesday on the 21st. The board's going to give its final approval. Pending that, all the information will be going to an attorney. So we finally can report that at this time.
Question. When are we expected to vote on the bylaws?
It will need to go to an attorney again for its approval. And then I believe there's a 60 or 90 day.
Present it to the membership so you all can review it,
Right.
because you're all gonna have to vote on it eventually.
Well, when does the vote take place?
After that 90-day or 60-day review.
Other voting.
I believe it has to happen on July's, which it ain't gonna make it for this year.
It's not gonna make it because they haven't gotten the approval yet.
Right.
Correct. I don't see it
Okay.
happening for this July, but I believe it would happen on July's meeting. Is the only time it can happen.
So we're not gonna see it in July.
Not for this year, I think.
Now, when will we vote then?
It would happen to the following
On that.
in July. Community garden. Is Nathan here? Yes, sir.
What's your name, sir?
Name, lot number?
I'm on P 399. Bottom of Mendoza. And that's where the ball with a plowed up part of it. That's not garden soil.
We realize that.
Yeah,
Um,
so you won't put it right by the truckload of blacktop or not blacktop, not topsoil, otherwise you put up good weeds.
All right, there's several options here. We're having a hard time communicating with, who's responsible for that project. So we discussed this at the meeting back there too. I'm an amateur gardener, and after I saw the soil that was dug up there, I came to the conclusion that there's a better way to do that was to leave the ground as it was and go with raised beds. Use treated lumber, probably 4x4s on the corners, about 8 inches high, and use treated lumber around the thing, and do your 10x10 plots. Build them one at a time in accordance with whoever wants to be involved in that. And then, as a base, we have some soil in the dump that's left over from when we dredged the ponds. So we would take a Class B soil and we would put about 6 inches of that in there. And then if it were me, and I was planning it, I would get a 50-pound bag of potting soil. And I would dig my hole and I would put the potting soil around the roots. That's one thing that George Brand would do. The other thing is we only have 4 people who have paid and 2 people who are interested in paying once the thing gets started. And the expense on that is growing by the day because treated lumber, posts, fencing, all that, it's not a moneymaker for the property owners. But the property owners have committed, your association has committed $5,000 in a loan, if you will. I think it'll take forever to repay that at $20 or $30 a plot. And honestly, if it were me, based on satisfying 6 people a date, and I'm estimating that probably a dozen would be interested in it, I would call the Hall Store right now. So the plan is for somebody to get a hold of the 2 people that are in charge and saying, "Look, fellas, we gave it a shot. Is it really worth doing it this time?" The amount of money that you're going to spend doing that, it's labor intensive. I'd go to John and Eagle and buy the stuff. Yes.
The other part is, they keep the deer out, so they're every part of the fence.
Yeah, and there's been arguments on that. You know, a 6-foot fence, they're gonna jump 8-foot fence.
Oh, yeah, 10 plus.
You know, it all depends. If they want something bad enough, I would be surprised to go over 10 foot.
Let's see, you don't.
So weighing all that, there has to be a serious sit down with somebody and say, is it really worth it? That's the status of the community garden.
Any questions? Motion to adjourn.
Real quick.
Real quick, back here, Mr. Genito.
Oh, you done good, Tom.
I'm working on it.
Good job.
Working on it.
Timber Lake Restoration, I would like to get a sign made. I know Mr. Barnhart has connections on these signs. Across from the main building, there's a sign there and it says, Gibbler Trail, Gibbler Track, no motorized vehicles, blah, blah, blah. I would like to have one made for the Timber Lake Restoration, one sign, Timber Lake Restoration, no motorized vehicles beyond this point. You get the sign made, then I'll frame it, as I did the one before. Fair enough?
If you make that sign, no frame, and you get a sign made. So we have the wordage on that exactly.
Give me the word, we're gonna.
I will. Thank you.
We're not done up there yet, Lauren. As soon as we get more products, we're gonna get that finished.
Yeah, I know.
We'll work on it. Anybody else? Adjourn. Second. Meeting adjourned, folks.
'Cause